I'm Connor Brackett, and I support sales at RapDev for ServiceNow implementations.
And I'm Eric Ledyard. I'm a roadmapper here at RapDev. I'm responsible for mapping business objectives to technical outcomes. We're here today to talk about DevOps maturity. What are your customers and clients asking for, and how do you think things have changed?
We've seen a lot of adoption of the ServiceNow DevOps module specifically. I think one of the challenges is there's so many DevOps tools out there. So when you look at DevOps, it's great to have 200 tools and let the developers stay in the tool sets that they like. One of the challenges that they run into is not being able to normalize all the data. If leadership wants to look at data, if different teams want to compare between each other, it's really challenging to look at tools like Azure DevOps or GitHub or GitLab and compare between those different tool sets. So using ServiceNow, you're able to do that. And I think a lot of teams were looking for that before, and having that cohesive end-to-end pipeline. I think that's one of the challenges that they're solving, and I'm seeing a lot of that demand today.
Are there any other things that you've seen clients, other than the visibility and the change control and governance automation, like any other use cases that come to mind that you've seen clients adopt for?
Yeah, in highly regulated institutions, I think audit is a huge piece. We have lots of customers coming to us saying they need to understand how code got to production. If you don't have a full end-to-end pipeline and visibility, which I think ServiceNow is a great tool for that, it's really hard to track that. And it's really hard, and you waste a lot of time with developers saying, hey, there was an audit, go track down how this got to production 6 months ago. So it can be really challenging. And I think ServiceNow gives you the visibility and gives you the tool to go track that down and not waste developer time, which is one of the highest paid resources in the company.
That really is, I think, one of the key benefits of having ServiceNow be that sort of system of record is it's got all the data from your assets, from ideation all the way through to production, all the incidents, any ticket that's ever been opened, any problem, any customer service management issue. Like, it's got all that data there. So to add the DevOps toolchain, it really gives you that ability to cohesively track every single position through there and hand the auditor a report versus having to go spend hours digging stuff up.
On the same thread, I think it's really important when developers are submitting change forms that being able to determine with data, objective data, that it's a low risk and low impact change. I think that's really important because you have a lot of developers that are bypassing the change process, and they're submitting low risk and low impact changes, and they're putting anything that they want on that change form.
Yeah, no, data quality is a huge part of this. A lot of times when I would talk to change managers, at first they would be kind of trepidatious about the fact of like, you're going to take my job away from me and automate it with ServiceNow DevOps. So I remember talking to a change manager, and she was saying, we're running a single cab meeting every day of the week now. There's 300 of them, people requesting changes, and there's only 3 people on her team. And she said, she's given up weekends to change and everything else. And she said, we spend just as much time on minuscule changes than we do on full mission critical changes that require, eyes on this for risk aversion. And what she saw immediately was, you're going to take about 85% of the noise out of the system for me and let me really focus on the stuff that matters.
One of the challenges is the people that are actually reviewing those changes don't have all of the context. So when you bring it to and you leverage the data from the pipeline, it makes it extremely objective. That's a lot of risk to the business, and that leaves a lot of the decision-making in folks' hands that ultimately don't have all of the data and all of the information about that change. So I think that's a really important part of using the DevOps module as well.
I know at RapDev, that's really been our goal, is to do everything from the beginning of the process all the way through to capture data, make it more accurate, make the automated change policies able to feed off of all the data we're bringing into the platform and make automated decisions. We're now leveraging AI in the process to make some AI-driven decisions on some of this. And one of the coolest things we've done is, configuration management becomes a huge part of any kind of DevOps deployment. Everything is as code today. Infrastructure is as code. Configuration pipeline is code. It's all built on there. And one of the cool, I think, differentiators and advantages that RapDev has is some of the IP that they built around, we call it CSDM as code, or now.yaml is what it used to be known as. But it's the ability to shift left all of the configuration management, tagging, CSDM enablement, and putting it right in the deployment. So that updates all your service mapping on ServiceNow. It keeps everything in real time, up to date. It's all about making developers' lives easier, and I think we do a really, really good job with that.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges of implementing DevOps is you have two pieces, right? You have the ServiceNow piece, which is knowledge in ServiceNow that there's a lot of folks that know ServiceNow, but then you have the developer and DevOps piece as well. And finding folks that have both of those skill sets is really challenging. And it really takes two worlds coming together and being able to deliver a solution that meets the customer's needs end to end. And that's really where RapDev specializes.